Hello, everyone, and happy hump day to you. Wednesday already. Goodness gracious me, where does the week go? I don't know. Nobody tells you, do they? You just take it and away it goes. Something like the market goes away from me. Doesn't want me. Doesn't want to know about me. We'll place the pound trade and then we'll talk about a few things that are niggling the niggles. The things that just make you go, well, keep you awake at night. Yeah, kind of. Thank you for joining in. It's wonderful to have you on board. G'day, Dennis. Going okay, thanks. Sino, how are you? Pound trade. All right. We got a little bit out of the pound again yesterday. Not a whole bunch, but enough to put in the bank. Today, what have we got? Well, let's put the EA on the chart and square that up just a bit. My goodness. There we go. Righto, here's our levels. I'll put them back up here because this is disappearing where it shouldn't be disappearing. Kumar mustn't have been in the show yesterday. Hi, Hen. Because he didn't hear me. Daily Wave Rider Traders is a pub day as well. Wow. Should be celebrating Daily Wave Rider Traders, I would imagine. Maybe that's why they're at the pub. G'day to all. G'day, SF. No screen. How do I manage to do that? When I screen share, maybe I just clicked the wrong button. There, try that. Righto, here's the entry levels before we get too far into the show. The buy today will be at 1.2744. And the stop loss will be at 1.2699. And of course, the reverse of that is true for the sell. So 1.2699 and 1.2744. Okay. We will, with what, 2 minutes to go. I think I can safely put those in the market, but you just never know, do you? Anything can happen in the space of a minute or a minute and 20 seconds or 15 seconds now, as it turns out. I think I can place the long without too much trouble. So let's do that. It's a buy stop. The level is 1.2744. And the stop loss at this point, which may change, is 1.2699. I'll just hang on to that for a tick and not put it in the market until the candle closes, 1.2699. Rightio. What's ahead today, by the way? I've got a few to look at, actually. 5 pairs this morning I had a good look at and placed a couple of orders. I'll share those with you shortly. We'll go through last night's orders. I nearly said trades. They weren't trades. They didn't turn into trades because the market said, no, you're not going in the market today, fella. And consequently, there were no trades entered. Now that level is still the same. And yes, okay, we are good to go. So that is the buy. Here is the sell at 1.2699. With a 1.2744 as the stop loss. Again, those of you in for the first time, this is a beta test of a strategy that we are developing or that I'm developing, but you guys are going to help. as we go through analysis of this starting, and it was to start last week, of course, but my time was otherwise occupied on the Australian mainland, I'm sorry. So that's now been put back to when the holidays, Ash and myself, actually expire, which will be the first week of August. So we'll get into that in the US session, and we will give you the results of that in this session. And any tweaks that needed to be made will be actually we'll trial them, I suppose, but we'll put them in place so that we can trial them as a result of those findings. And we may find that, we're best to trail not at all and set targets. We might find that we're best to trail on a 5-minute chart. We might find that we're best to trail on a 4-hour chart. That's what the whole point of the analysis is, and using the data that we've already got from the various time frames that we've used, 30-minute, 15-minute, and now hourly that we're trailing on. So those of you who are new to the show, welcome to you first up. What we're seeking to do here is trade the breakout of the previous 3 bars prior to London Open. In this case, London is now open, of course. In this case, those bars are these, 1, 2, 3. The 2 inside bars, of course, won't count. We use the high of this bar and the low of this bar. We go short 10 pips below the low of that bar. We go long 15 pips above the high of that bar. And then once triggered, we cancel the opposite order. So if we get triggered long, we cancel the short and vice versa. And we then trail on a 1-hour chart 2 buyer or seller bars, dependent on where we get entered. Yesterday, for instance, where did we get triggered? I think we got triggered. Which bar? I can't remember. Might have been this bar, actually. We got triggered on. Could be wrong. Anyway, what happened? We didn't get 2 white bars to trail until we got to here. And we did trail there. Now, the rule, which is interesting, if you're trailing on an EA, this would have been different because the trail says trail the low of the first candle, not the low of the 2 candles. So the low trail on this particular scenario, 2 buyer bars, would have been under that candle. And then the EA would have, in fact, the EA would have just put your stop loss back down here, I would have imagined, because the next buyer bar was in fact a trail under the first of the 2 bars, which is that bar there. Interesting. I kept mine there, I've got to tell you. Anyway, that wasn't the end of it. We got another 2 buyer bars here, and your stop loss moved to there, but that was as good as it got. And we got taken out, or the trail was taken out sometime before I awoke, put it that way. Okay, so that's the pound trade. If I was trading the pound today without trading a breakout, whilst we're here, we might as well have a look at that. You can see that we've had a break of the immediate range that we've been in since mid-April. And that looks interesting in its own right. Let me just go a little bit wider on that. Okay, and there you can see the level. That is very, very pertinent. I don't want to be taken in long here, I've got to say. And I'm almost inclined to play a false break immediately on the day. Why didn't I look at that this morning? Don't know. Must have been a reason. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Get rid of that. And we might place a short underneath this bar here, guys. Let's do that, shall we? I might go to another broker here, just so it's easier. There we go, daily chart. We're going to go short underneath this bar here. And that level, I'll put that up on the screen. Will be pound US dollar Oh, GB gap P. This is the daily. We're selling at, you're going to give me this? No, of course not. Where's my little gizmo? If I put that on, will it work? No, it won't. Okay. Right, so the entry is going to be at 1.2649er. And the stop loss is going to be at 1.2771. 2649, 2771. 2649, 2771. Okay. We will deal with TP1 in just a tick. Right, move that to there. TP1 looks pretty obvious to me. It's the weekly pivot. So let's have a look at that. TP1 will be, let's make that DS2. We're not interested in DS. Why is DS2 there? Oh, yeah, okay, we are interested in DS2. 125.90 will be TP1. That's not what I want. TP1, 1.2590. Okay, what I suggest you do at that point is remove 1/3 of your position and then remove a second third of your position. Yeah. I'm going to trust going through the monthly. Yeah, I will trust going through the monthly pivot. No, I won't. Here's what I'll do. TP2, I won't take anything off the table, but I'll move my stop to entry. And TP2 will be at 124.93. So there's another 100 pips there. You could take something if you wanted to. I don't think I will. As I said, I'll just move my stops to entry at that point. And then take some profit probably here, where the old monthly pivot was. All right, so that's pound US dollar on the daily chart. We've got it on the hourly chart. I don't think I want it anywhere else, to be honest. Righto, what do we got, guys? We've got some questions in the box. I'm asking because yesterday's euro-dollar short, we used the second touch. Oh, sorry, Sino, your first question. Is Slingshot strategy still the same in that we only use the third touches bar as the entry bar and not the second bar touching the trade line? Yes, that is generally the case. You asking because yesterday's euro-dollar short, we used the second touches bar buyer, second touches bars buyer bar, and not the third touches euro-dollar. Did we place a trade on euro-dollar yesterday? Did we? Okay. We placed a short, did we, here? That's last week. What am I talking about? Yesterday. Let me think. We might have placed a short here, did we? That looks possible. What time frame was it on? Yeah, we would have placed it there. Yep. And then we expired it. Right. Okay. So there's one touch, there's two touches, and there's three touches. So we actually placed our trade on that bar there, which was actually the fourth touch. Does that make sense, Sino? That was the trade now. I remember it well now. because it expired probably. Oh no, we had our entry there anyway, so it wasn't the end of the world. We didn't get taken in at any stage. Does that now make sense, Sino? So I'll just go a bit tighter and show you. So we had one touch here, which is a swing high, 2 candles this side, 2 candles that side. We had a swing high here. Well, not a swing high, really. It's not a swing, but it's a high with 2 candles either side lower than the high of that bar. And then we had a third, well, we had a third touch there. We had a fourth touch there and a fifth touch there. All good? I have to bring my mic closer. Is that better, Swee, for you? I hope it is. So I assume that's now okay for you, because it should be okay for you. That's exactly what happened. That was indeed the third touch. Yep. Okay, Swee. Very good. Righto. The things I'm looking at today. No, let's go back to last night, shall we? Where we placed 3 orders. And like I said today, the market just, I think I've got price repellent on. It doesn't want to know about me. The euro was a short, not a long. Okay, I need to make you understand this. It absolutely was a short. Okay, so let me zoom in on what we traded, or what we tried to trade. All right, so the market's going sideways. We got a break of this resistance trade line. Now, it's definitely a trade line, not a trend line. We've got a swing high here, or a high here. We've got a high here. That's our first criteria met. So we draw a trade line through the high, a trade line through the high, and then that continues on. Market goes above it, comes back below it, and retests it. That is always going to be a trade short for me. So we're trading this bar here, but we decided to put our entry underneath this bar here. So it was at that level. And we're trading short there. So there's our entry right there. Our stop loss, I can't remember exactly where we put our stop loss. I think we put it above the bar. And then when 6 candles expire after you've placed the order, so we placed the order after this bar closed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we cancel the order. So there was absolutely nothing happening there. And then, of course, the market exploded, but not in the direction that we required, of course. And that seems to be the flavor of the month. But if you were diligent enough to hang around, and you could have maybe caught that breakout with that bar there. Not for me, but yeah, nearly could have got it. Used a trade line that was from down to up, while yours was up to down. Okay, yep. So you're going this way. Okay, gotcha. So you had a trade line through here. And therefore, that was your second touch. I think I got it now. So yes, that was my trade line through here. Either one is valid. Absolutely. Either one is valid. But you couldn't trade that under my strategy rules, no. Okay. Happy days, Sino, happy days. Now let's move on to last night whilst we catch our breath here. Dollar Sing. Once again, exactly the same applies here, where we attempted to trade long and the market went short. What I want you, and the reason I'm going through these of particular note, is the insurance policy that I use. And what I mean by that, well, let me use my little pen thing. This is very, very important for the way I trade. Now, it's not for everybody, of course, but for me, this is the way it works. We're looking to trade long above that candle. And the reason there's insurance built into that is if price goes with momentum in this case being down, and our directional bias is wrong, then this is what generally happens. The market just goes in the direction of the bar that we're trading versus the opposite direction, which is where we're trading. So that's very, very important to my survival, if you like. Because if I was to enter the market here at the close of the bar, anticipating that the market's going long, then I just get chopped up badly, to use correct English. So that's the whole thing with this strategy, and that's why it is like it is. That is my insurance policy, and that's exactly the same as happened on many of these pairs yesterday. So I hope that's clear. I'm not predicting that price is going to there. What I am doing is I'm saying if price doesn't go to there, then it's doing something else. And that something else is going to be, well, we're not selling. What are we doing? We're buying. And these dudes come back into play. And if these dudes come back into play, they're going to come back into play here, I believe. And if that's the case, they're going to drive the market higher. So that's very much the basis of the strategy or the system under which I operate. So it doesn't really concern me when price falls away. Look, that's not true. It gives me the SH1Ts every now and then when it happens consistently and to every bloody thing that I'm trading, because I'm not in the market and I want to be in the market. But when the market's trending as it is, then, you know, I get very few opportunities, to be honest. And that's why we're not in too many trades at the moment. In fact, we're in no trades at the moment, only orders in the market. So the other two that we traded last night, one was Swiss, or was that this morning? That was this morning. No, it was yesterday, Swissy yen. Swissy yen was another short here. So again, false break, very, very similar to what I was looking for on euro dollar. And lovely double cross of the daily pivot. Same thing applied. If price goes with momentum, it's going that way, which it did. And if price isn't going that way, then it's doing something else. And that's where we come into play. So that didn't happen either. And euro yen was the other. Euro yen, where have I got you? Back up there somewhere. Don't I? It's got to be an easy way to do this, doesn't there? It's down the other end, obviously. Euro Swissy, euro yen, there we go. So euro yen, I've still got that up there. That was an M30 selling, again under here, at the double, well, kind of a double cross of the daily pivot, but essentially it is a approach of that trade line and an A, B, C potential off the daily pivot. So once again, the insurance policy worked and we weren't taken into a bad trade. That's the best I can say, guys. I've got to tell you, I can't. Well, the other way to put it is I was wrong, if you want to put it that way. And I'm increasingly wrong at the moment with things like the dollar index, for instance, where now that has cleared the support level that we were talking about. I'll just share that chart with you one more time. That has now cleared the area. So Elvis has left the building. Temporarily, don't know. But the next opportunity that I will get will be when price gets to this low here. And it ain't that far away. And I'll be looking for exactly the same thing. I'll be looking for a retest of this area here now instead of this area here. Why this area here? Well, it's the one we've just broken, right? So that level there we've just broken. Maybe it's a little bit higher actually. So down here, hit this level, back to here. I'm not giving up on it. I will continue to be that way until we've cleared every single support level underneath us. When it does that, man, I reckon the US dollar is in bolt trouble. And, you know, you can see it here in maybe before the end of the year. You can see it here, maybe early into 2021, and you can see it challenging these lows in mid 2021 or even sooner. This could just flash crash, I don't know. But now the whole world seems to be on the same train. Look out. Look out. So what does that do? Well, things like the euro, things like the Aussie, things like the Kiwi, things like the CAD, things like anything you want to name against the US dollar is going to be in favor. I think there's very, very little doubt about that. So with that in mind, do I want to trade against the US dollar today? No. Why? Well, because they've all flown the coop. They're all gone. And they need to come back, because I'm sure everybody who's ever traded anything will be on the same page. And I don't want to be on that page. I want to be in a place that nobody else is. That's the way I like to trade. Well, not necessarily nobody. Somebody's got to be with me, otherwise I won't go there, but not the general populace. That said, if I can catch the way in on things like euro dollar coming backwards, then I shall. But the same applies as it does every day, and I'm looking for the same thing every day. I'm looking for a reversal pattern and then a lower high here. If that happens, then I might have a crack. If it doesn't, then I'm probably not in the game, and that's okay. So that's going to be the same on all these pairs against the US dollar, without question, which have just gone nuts. In particular, the Aussie, just gone absolutely bananas. And that's a good thing for people who have been trading trends. And you should be, if you're a trend trader at the moment, you should be cock a hoop. And as you said earlier, who said that? Pub Day, I think it was Dennis. You should be at the pub today celebrating, because you should have banked a fair chunk over the last few days. It's been going nuts. Gold as well. Silver, you throw them all in. S&Ps. Should have been a great week for trend traders. And that's why it's a slow week for me. That will all change, and we'll take our turn. That's the way it works. Righto, today, what was I looking at? Let's get back to that. CAD Swissy was the first one. And I do have an order on CAD Swissy if you want to follow it. The gutsy play would have been to trade this bar here. And I am trading on the daily chart, mind you. And I've got the EA in place to do that. What we're really trading here is a combination of things. You can see that we've got similar trade lines to what we had on the euro yesterday. Different position, but we've got a resistance trade line. We've got a big break of that. Didn't quite hit the monthly pivot, which concerns me somewhat. But then we got straight back below it and retested it. But not only the trend line or trade line, but also the weekly pivot. Throw the daily pivot in there as well if you want. So my estimation is that, once again, if these guys take control, the market goes that way. If these guys don't take control, my screen, sorry, I'm hopeless, aren't I? Okay, so yeah, got it now, Hen. Sorry about that. So just very briefly, we've still got a resistance trade line here. We haven't quite hit the monthly pivot. This is CAD Swiss on a daily chart that I'm looking at. But we have produced what looks very much like a false break to me of not only the trade line, but also the weekly pivot. Now, the proof in the pudding here will be if price does go below this candle. And if it does, I expect it will take on the lows here. I nearly said almost certainly. There's no such thing. But that would be my estimation. DS2 is a little bit of an issue, where I've got my first take profit level, which is only at 15 pips. I'm not prepared to trade through that with the risk on the table. So that's where I think we'll get a bounce. What we've got to do is survive the bounce and get into profit. So that is CAD Swiss, my entry level on that is 0.6907. And I have a stop loss of 42 pips or 6949. And I'm taking profit at 15 pips. I'm going to close half the trade and then just let the rest run. I'm not going to take TP all at 120. That's just a, it's not there now. Shouldn't be there either. Okay. TP2, I'm going to take at 45 pips, which is at 1-to-1 basically. And it's just above DS3. And the level is 68.62. That's my second take profit. Now I'll move my stops to entry at that point. I'm not sure if I'll probably take another third off there. And then if we're fortunate enough, we will fall into this massive chasm and maybe come and challenge the 66s, something of that nature. That's the plan on CAD Swiss. Next one, CAD Yen, not dissimilar, as you can imagine, except the position is quite different. Now, once again, if you guys haven't worked it out now, I'd love to play false breaks, right? No, Jimmy, Euro Swissy daily one is a sell for me, not a buy. Bounced off monthly pivot and 200 EMA. Let me go back there. CAD Swiss. Bounced off monthly pivot, no, not quite. 200 EMA, I don't use EMAs. But it is a sell, definitely a sell, not a buy. Oh, daily wave rider. Okay, sure. I can get with that. That doesn't mean that Paul would change his mind. Doesn't mean I would change my mind, because we both trade entirely differently. And as I said before, if Paul's right, then what will happen is price will go up here and we won't be taken into the trade. But if that's wrong, if the daily wave rider indicators are incorrect, then I will be taken in and will challenge these lows again, which is the whole premise of the trade. Are you talking Euro Swiss? Sorry, mate. Sorry. I'm talking CAD Swiss. Euro Swissy, I don't have on my watch list at all. Sorry about that. And I can understand why that would be a buy, because the euro is indeed on fire. CAD Yen. Okay, again, potential false breaks, exactly the same scenario. Didn't quite make it to the monthly pivot, but we've broken clear not only of the trade line, but of the range. We've come back inside the range and we have retested that trade line. Why can't you see an order? Why can't you see an order on my chart? Because I haven't placed it. And the reason I didn't place it, I can't remember. I think it was probably because the candle hadn't closed. That would be why. I wanted to see how that candle closed. This is really a little bit early in the piece, but I don't see that much threat underneath us. Yeah, there's a bit of resistance, which has been support. That's probably why I didn't take it. Well, I wasn't in front of the charts after it closed, but see, the trade idea is to trade short there. Stops here is pretty tight. It's only 25 pips, and there's a good reward available here. TP1 there at 1.5 to 1, and then you've got about 3 to 1 to the bottom of the range. So I do like it, but I think I'm a bit early. I think I might be a bit early. Look, let's just place it at say 0.25%, and if we get knocked over, we can easily get back into it when the time comes, when the time is right, rather than, I think, maybe a little bit early. But you know, this, I like the reward available, so we'll take it. The entry level on this one is at 79.25. And the stop loss is just trading the bar, nothing else, 79.50. Okay, and yeah, just 0.25% will be fine. If we get into it and we're right, we will get opportunities with retracements to get back in here, and a genuine lower high is what I'll be looking for. So maybe if we get, even if we get taken in, hit WR1, come back to the daily pivot and get a lower high there, that would be just fine. We could scale into that then. I'd be prepared to put a bit more risk on the table if that were the case. 79, 25, and 50. Okay, let's put that up on the board. CAD yen. This is on H4. It is a sell. Oh, that's all in little ones. Don't want little ones. 79.25, I think I said, yep. 79.25. Stop loss, I might as well keep them little now, is at 79.55. TP1 will be, we'll get a little bit above the weekly pivot actually. We'll go with DS1, 79.04. $79.04. You can remove, yeah, I'd remove a half at that point. And how many pips will we take? 20, 21 versus a risk of 30. You could move your stops to pretty much where price is now, 71, 79.40. So you make yourself just about safe in the market at that point, I would think. Yeah, be very close. Righto, so that is CAD yen on the 4-hour chart. But wait, there's more. Euro pound. Euro pound is another. Euro Swiss signal long today. I'm not, but apparently the daily wave rider is, according to Jimmy. Righto, with Euro pound, now looking a little bit less inclined to trade it than I was before. I had placed an order below this bar here and trading this bar here. I think that's probably gone, so we will can that one. Delete. But I'm not finished with this. I don't know what I need to see, however. It's getting very, very messy. I need to see, yeah, I need to see another trade line. That's what I need to see. So we need price to get right up to here now. Up here, break, get back underneath, retest, and it's very, very messy, as I said. I am bearish, but yeah, it is tough. So we'll move on from that. Pound Swissy is another, and that is gone. That's precisely what I'm waiting for on the others, guys. But I'm not committed to the short side of Pound Swissy, I've got to say. I am thinking long here, but I did want to go short to get long because we did have that false break scenario. What we didn't get was a buyer's bar here, which is what we need, and a daily pivot test. That's what I was sweating on. Buy a bar at the daily pivot, enter here, away you go, get your profit in the bank there. So that's gone. Pound Kiwi is another, and those of you who have been in the shows with me over the last few days will recognize I'm looking for a long here, but I was also prepared to go short to get long. I have a buy order in the market, and it is above this bar here. And the short's gone, of course. That's well and truly gone. This is the 4-hour chart I'm looking at. This is a simple ABC trade. So we've got breakout of the top of the range, couldn't maintain that, back inside the range, straight down to the bottom of the range, and now below it. Still got a higher high potential here. That could be interesting. We'll have a look at that later on as well. But essentially, we've got a double cross of the weekly pivot, and we've also got a break and retest of the channel and trade line. Not channel, rectangle and trade line. So that's an automatic go for me. I'm way, way, way beyond where price is, of course. And if I get another opportunity down here somewhere to trade this long, I shall, because as I keep saying, there is a massive, massive reward available on this pair if we get it right. And getting it right is the trick, of course. But don't get too carried away here, because, you know, even if we miss the first entry and say we got above the monthly pivot and retested that area, and we confirm that there's a reversal on, there's tons of time, because, you know, we're thinking up here somewhere. So, you know, there's no rush on this at all, at all. Yes, indeed, Dennis. Pound is the worst performer today, and the Kiwi is the strongest. Well, I think it is. I haven't had a look at FinViz actually, but I'll absolutely take your word for that, because it seems to be the case. What is interesting, and is always interesting to me, is when does that gap close? Isn't that a good question? When does the strongest and the weakest actually come together? When does that happen? Good point, eh? Well, we've got to look. We've got to wait for the signal. And the signal comes in the chart. It always does. Or asleep, Dennis. Yes, likely the case. But, you know, that's why we stay alert when we get to these levels. And, you know, I say this all the time. There's very, very little for me to do until the market gets to either A, the top or bottom of a range, or B, the top or bottom of a run. This is one of those. This is definitely one of those occasions. Already we've got a signal. We've got a bullish engulfing bar here. What we don't have yet, and this may well have been it, in my humble opinion, and that's why I was keen to trade above that. That may well have been the higher low that we're looking for. But this also may well be the higher low. But geez, the photo finish, isn't it? What's the low here is 51.3. The low here is, man, really? 51.3. Can that be right? Let me go here. Looks, it is actually. This is kind of weird. My charts on maximum won't let me go tighter. I've got a hiccup here somewhere, guys. I'm trying to go tighter. It won't let me. Come on. Maybe I'll go to another chart and come back. No, broken. We've broken pound Kiwi. Maybe it is the same level. Can't be. No, no way. So potentially that's still a higher low. And that's what I'm looking for, of course. Right, so we'll leave that one alone. That's it. That's all I was looking at today. Once it turns, there would have to be serious coin place, would need to be careful of getting stopped out, but the big guys, yeah. Always got to be aware of that. What we're trying to do is recognize when the big guys actually make their play. And in general terms, that will be when you, well, depends on how you think. It will be often when you least expect it. And oftentimes, and this is what we look for down here, we will see a spike down here and then kaboom. And there's good reason for that. We see it every single time, right? There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. They're all over the place because they're looking for liquidity all the time. And what we're hoping for is that we do get that spike, and that's a signal for us to look for a higher low. And as soon as we get that higher low, away we go. Tell us when I place the trades. Well, I'll try. Well, I've already got one. There you go. There's one in the market now. And the entry is at 1.9322. And I've got 173 pips of stop loss. If you're interested in taking that one, I'll put it on the chart. Pound Kiwi. This is on the daily chart. We are buying at 1.9322. Stop loss is at, oh my goodness, I can't take 173 from that off the top of my head. Let me see. The level is 191.44 something. 173. 191.49 it is. $191.49. TP1. Well, I actually got it very, very tight at 45 pips, because the likelihood of this bouncing back again is quite strong. And this is the timid way in, right? But I do want to get in the market, and I'm actually tipping a bounce off the monthly pivot, but maybe only back to here, back to around about our entry level. So 45 pips is the first take profit. So that brings us into 1.9367. I'll just take a third of the position off at that point, just to get a little bit of risk off the table. Okay, there we go. Goodness me, I haven't even looked at the 30-minute candles yet. Not that I'm that interested, because I know what I'm going to see. But let's have a look-see. That's the end of my orders, guys. If you've got any questions on them, then please put them in the box. I'm only too happy to address them. No, don't move stop loss to entry. Don't leave your stop loss where it is at that point. When you take your second profit, generally that's when I move my stop loss to entry, because I don't want to get taken out of this early. I want to stay in it as long as I can, but I don't want a massive amount of risk on the table. So if there's your TP1, your TP2 has got to be your next resistance level, basically. So 195, 92-ish, something like that, would be your second take profit. And you've got a choice then of, definitely want to move your stop to entry there. You can take something off the table if you wish. That's not a bad idea, because what you'd be expecting then is a retracement back to here. Let me show you how I trade reversals. It's a very simple formula. So what goes down should come up in the same fashion. Can you see where I'm going with this? So it likes these levels. So TP1, TP2, scale in if you want, TP3, scale in if you want, or TP1 on the second position, same. And then you finish up with a massive big W, and hopefully up here somewhere where you're 2,500 pips to the good, but you've also made, 1, 2, 3 times that if you're really, really clever, and the market doesn't do a flip-flop and some jerk doesn't say something that he shouldn't say at the wrong time, or tweet something that he shouldn't at the wrong time and change the whole dynamic, then you've got to start all over again. But that's exactly how I look to trade reversals. Every single time, it's the same. Doesn't happen every day, but when it does, that's exactly what we're looking for. Possible M30 long for pound Kiwi as well. Can draw the pattern again like Big O did on TradingView. Draw the pattern again like he did on TradingView. Remember, he drew a pattern. I've got no idea. Oh, okay, copy it. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. I enjoyed that. Am I in pound Kiwi? Not yet, no. Yes, on silver. Silver, I think silver's going okay. I think he got into that too. Chandru. I'm not in at all, mate. No. Not yet, but I'm working on it. I've got an order here, which is on the chart. And I'm looking at this candle very closely as well. Because tomorrow morning, if I wake up and I've got a candle that looks something like that, then I will probably add to this and put an order above it, just above the weekly pivot there. I'll preempt this now because I know exactly what I'll do. I'll put an order above the weekly pivot. I'll put my stop loss below the low by probably 10, 15 pips, something like that. Daily chart. And then I'll take TP1 here and I'll remove half and move my stops to, well, I won't need to, I don't think. So the risk will be on that around about 180 pips. First take profit will be at 120 pips. So what's that? That's 2/3, isn't it? If I then move my stop loss 1/3 into, oh, this is getting complex for you guys, sorry. I'll move my stop loss to a safe position, I'll put it that way. So that if the worst happens and this comes back and takes me out, then I won't be in that trade. And I would have closed that trade at break even. So that candle's probably a very, very good opportunity for me to get in here. Do I anticipate the same? No, I don't. Not for the Aussie. No. Why? Because the dollar is so weak. That is why. I can't give you a valid reason why the Aussie is outperforming everything like the Kiwi and has taken us out of that trade. I can why it's outperforming the dollar, but everything else I can't. It's, you know, it's smashing the euro and the euro's on fire. I can't give you a great reason for that. It's smashing pound. I can understand that. It's giving the CAD a big run for its money. There must have been some news. That's a bit of a newsy bar, isn't it? So I won't be trading the Aussie as a reversal until I have well, that's not true. I'll trade what I see, but what I think at the moment is I can't see a reason why anything would reverse to a large degree against the US dollar. Retracement, certainly, I get that. And going back to the US dollar index chart that I keep going back to, and it keeps doing exactly the opposite. It has to retrace, in my opinion, as well, off one of these support levels, and it's approaching the next support level. And when that happens, it will retrace back to the trade line, in my humble opinion. But I've been wrong twice now on that same theme. It just hasn't done it. So weak it is. Yes, I'll trade the retracement if it's there, but you know, you'll need a reversal pattern. You'll need a lower high, exactly the same as a reversal you would trade. But I won't be looking to stay in that for a long time because I don't think it'll happen. I think the Aussie versus the US dollar, like everything versus the US dollar, has got a bright future, frankly. Where? Poor. What a great question. Aussie, you can see it's through this former support level already. It's approaching this resistance area. You've got to be thinking here, 77 in the short term even. Or when I say no medium, let's make that medium term. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow. How high can it go? How long's a piece of string, I suppose. But, there's so much can happen in between when you say something and when the market actually gets to that point. It can be a year, it can be 2 years before it unfolds because of things that get in the way, like fundamentals that happen all over the time. So, it's whilst I believe in technicals to the nth degree, and you can see it on, if you go to a big time frame on, any currency pair you like, these things don't happen by fluke. They happen because they look at levels. Who'd have said, well, in 2016, when every man and his dog is saying this thing's going to parity, this is euro dollar, that in the space of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just on a year, it's put on 25% of its value. Who says that? Yet it happens. And here it happens again. It goes back to these levels that it just remembers. And that, that horizontal, there's a confluence there as well. So, we get carried away in the moment, if you like, and think that, well, who'd have said here, pre-Brexit, right? Who'd have said in May 2014 that the euro will be at parity in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, again, less than a year? Who'd have said that? But it happened. So, whilst the mystery remains as to when, the mystery is not as clouded as most people would think, that the euro versus the dollar, or anything versus the dollar at the moment, can't go a long, long, long way. Can. And I'm saying it probably will. 30-minute charts. Is that where I started? Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, these things versus the dollar, how do we play it? Well, the first thing that I need to see, again, and I'll say it again, is a sign that the market is about to turn around. And that sign for me, I don't have to think about it. I either see a pattern or I don't. I don't see it on the 30-minute chart. So I'm looking for a bearish engulfing bar. I'm looking for a double top. I'm looking for a head and shoulders, any of those regular recognizable chart patterns. And really, I don't see it here right now on any of the charts. And the higher I go on the charts, the less likely I am to see it. There's the potential for this to be a bearish engulfing bar. And if it was a definite and decisive bar, then maybe that's our start for H4. The very next thing I would look for is for price to hit a support level, daily pivot, prime candidate, and then come back and give me the lower high that I seek after I see that. So that, there's plenty of time to think about this, and I wouldn't even consider trading it short until that happens. Now, there will be people who are speculating right now that this is going wherever it's going short, and they've already tried. You can see they've already tried. We've had an attempt here, and they're still in. We've had an attempt here, and they're still in, but the market currently is going against them. And that's the kind of price action that I don't want to be involved with, to be honest. Is it going to go beyond these highs? No idea. But there's going to be a lot of stops there right now with people speculating that this is turning around. They may be right, they may be wrong. I don't know. It's a bit of a toss of a coin for me until I see those patterns that I want to see. And they to me, are the security that I need to trade. because as you know, I'm a very conservative trader and I don't just jump in for no reason. I've got to have good reasons. So nothing to do here. Like this, the fact that we're at the top of this range on, well, channel for most of you, I call channels ranges because guess what? They're bouncing off the top and bottom. This one hasn't bounced for a long time, and maybe there's even another one in there. So this is a good posi, and similar to what we've just looked at. Why is it a good posi? Because it is at a resistance level. Is there a confluence at all? Is the next question? Well, it's through the confluence. So you're probably expecting it to take a crack at the highs. That may amble around here for a bit. Then we've got another confluence at these highs. So what would be my analysis on that? I don't want to go short just yet because I still think that level is very much in play. But again, I'll be looking for reversals. That's an interesting bar. Have we had news? I didn't think there was any specific news. Oh, there is CAD news. Yeah, okay. Not till 1:30 UK time, though. Maybe somebody's having a speculator on what's the number coming out. CPI, month-on-month CPI figures out of Canada a little bit later. We've had retail sales out of Australia today, 2.4% versus no forecast. Nobody's prepared to have a crack at that. The market, that's the only Aussie thing I've looked at for a while. Yeah, it seems to be up and down on the Aussies at the moment. Very much so. I'd say something's, apart from that, has been semaphored or said, or because everything's a little bit titchy on the Aussies. But I don't think there's a whole lot of point me going through these because I'm going to say exactly the same thing every single time. We've gone a long way. We expect retracement or reversal, and that's great. But I'm not a scalper here. I don't just go, okay, we're going back to the daily pivot, let's get in, because that, and I can assure you, historically, that has done me no good at all. But here's something that you might want to look at. Euro Aussie has got a nice double bottom sitting here. Now we look for a higher low. And if we get that higher low sitting over here somewhere, in particular at a support level, maybe there, maybe there. So if we came back to here and got a higher low, then I can go, because it's confirming to me that price does not want to go back to this level. That's what the higher low is telling me. And that's what I'll look for. And again, you've got, and I love symmetry. Symmetry is my thing. Just as I described to you before, although there's very little retracement to be had here, there are levels. So there's one there, and there's one there. So there you take profit levels, right? If it does reverse. It's got a lot of work to do, I might add. And which one is going to outpace the other is the other question, of course. And as Dennis rightly pointed out, the weakest commodity, or the weakest currency rather, on the chart at the moment today is the pound. Strongest is the Kiwi. The Aussie is second best against the dollar. I'll show you that chart, actually. It's better to show you rather than talk. So this is the one I use to get relative strength. And they're all versus the US dollar, right? So the Kiwi is just better than the dollar. That's interesting. The dollar's having a little bit of a rally today. Is it going back to the trend line? I don't know, guys. Maybe it's a bit early or a bit late, one or the other. Aussie's next best. Interestingly, the Swissy is squeezed in between the Comdols. Commodity currency, commodity currency, commodity currency, risk off currency. So all these three, and you can throw the dollar in there as well if you like, are risk on at the moment, are risk on currencies. The Swissy is not, and it's outperforming the yen, which is also not. Interesting. So Swissy yen, I was actually bearish, that wasn't I? Have I got an order on Swissy yen? Just excuse me for a sec, guys. I did have, and it expired. That was yesterday as well, wasn't it? Yep. Okay. So yeah, that's very interesting. Yes, indeed, Dennis. A lunatic I'm looking for. Pound the weakest by a long, long way. And like I said, when do they come together? When do they come together? And it's a good idea to go and have a look at bigger time frames to see what's actually occurred here. Pound slipped, Kiwi's doing okay. Quarter, Kiwi's doing okay. Pound's always lagging. Half year, still the pound is weaker than the Kiwi. So the big question remains, how long does that last? And can you bank on it? You got to go to the charts. The charts have got to tell you that. There's no other way, apart from a fundamental disturbance, of course, as we all know, interest rate announcement or whatever the case may be. So that's probably it, I think, guys, from me, unless you've got some more questions, which I'm only too happy to answer. Everything's the same. I'm waiting for reversal patterns. Markets are at risk on, big time risk on. Risk offs, gold and silver are going up as well. Strange. Look, there are some anomalies. Sino always are some anomalies, and I have no idea why the market would be risk on, full stop. But it is strange to see people fleeing to gold. Well, it's not strange. You expect it. That's what I would expect to see, and I would expect to see everything else, the euro in particular, suffering. But that news, apparently, the market really likes what the ECOFIN meetings were over the weekend, where they came together and said, okay, here's our plan post-COVID for survival. It seems that there's been some form of unity there, but what I read was a lot of disunity in the meetings as well. So the market's like that, obviously, with the euro, and off it goes. Risk off, gold is up. Yes, absolutely. It's to my mind inversely improportionate at the moment. That's what I don't understand. To me, it's, why are we risk on? It doesn't make sense. What does make sense is the dollar's weak because of what the state's in terrible mess, both economically, governance, all of those things combined. It's crazy. Our Aussie Swiss trade on daily wave rate just fell 25 pips in 30 minutes. Must be something in the cheese. Yeah, something's happening with the Aussie. I don't know what. And that's what I was just looking at. But it's, it's only up and down. There's no firm decision there. Someone said something, I would imagine. And the market's just gone a little bit funny for a bit. Now, stock market is risk off. I mean, today it's red. Is it? Okay. Then we'll have a look at that in the US session, because I don't look at it at all. There's the monthly chart, daily chart. Yeah, it's come off a bit, but you'd expect that, wouldn't you, after the run that it's had? That's S&P. So, yeah, I don't comment on them because I have no knowledge of them. There is the gold chart. Man, oh man. Ainsley just buy another property, I suppose. She'll be in tonight in the US session. I'm pretty sure she'll be happy about what she's seeing. But she did say late yesterday, and we warned the people in the US session, that she was taking profit at pretty much at this level, at that red level. I may have missed it, but did you discuss the possible M30 long for pound Kiwi? Oh, no, I didn't. I did not. Pound Kiwi on the 30-minute chart. Sorry about that. Completely slipped my mind. Okay, same applies here. So we've got the beginning here of a potential trade. The beginning, why? Because we are trending short without question. And when we're trending, we need to have some form of reversal. That's the first part of the equation. Sorry, when I keep saying we, it's me. You guys can do exactly what you like. But for me, I need to see a reversal. And we've got a bullish engulfing bar here. I'm happy with that. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with it. But now I need to see something else. And the best something else I could possibly see would be a higher low off there, or even off anywhere. It doesn't matter where. But if it worked like this, where price went up to here, then came back and tested that level there, that would be my best entry point. Risky there, not so risky there. So you could either enter there and enter there as well, or only enter there if you want to be conservative like me. That's where I enter the market. But if you want to trade the right shoulder as such, as Ash does, that would be the point where you'd enter the market. But I have got to have both things in place before I'll trade reversals. So I've got part one, bullish engulfing bar. Part two is a higher low. That could happen here. Could happen anywhere. But best here because it's a form of resistance level, right? So we can use, support level rather. We can use that as support again if we get the opportunity. So they're the best case scenarios. Okie dokie. Happy days. So no, I'm not ready to trade it on the 30-minute chart. You'll probably see one day in the next 2 weeks where we'll find this entry on pound Kiwi, but hopefully we get there long before that. But these are the things that I need to see before I can do it. Right here, guys, it's time that I went and went fairly fast because dinner will be on the table very shortly. That's when price action generally jumps into gear, when I go and have dinner. Did yesterday as well. Have we been triggered on the pound? I don't think so, because you guys would have shouted out at that, I think. Pound, pound, pound. There we go. Let's come back a bit. We have been triggered on the pound. Okay, well and truly. All right. Let's see how that pans out. We can cancel the long, of course, and let's hope we finish up down here or down here or down here. That'd be good. Yes, we have indeed. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it with you, and hopefully we can bank some money throughout the day and throughout the evening. There's, of course, the US session coming up later on with Ainsley, who will be, as I say, cock a hoop and for telling us exactly what to do when gold retraces. Where's it going to retrace to? How do we get back in? All those sorts of things. Thank you, mate. Chicken tonight and a glass of white, I should imagine. Have a great rest of hump day, guys. We will catch you tomorrow and we'll do it all again and hopefully get some nice trades in the market. There's plenty to think about right now. See you guys. Bye-bye. Bye now.